Hi, my name is Neve Garcia Choche, and this is my creative critical reflection for ACE Media Studies Level AS. So, starting off, we have my intro, which is my creative critical reflection. And so, basically, my final is called Stranger, and it's about, it's like a thriller / cyber horror, and it's about this boy named Michael, and he has this really good friend that he talks to online named Lauren, but in reality, he doesn't know who Lauren is outside of just talking to her through a screen, which leads to the film happening, and yeah. So, my film challenges conventions, and it also represents social groups by basically it starts off with a boy, and that's obviously different because most horror things or things that involve sexual abuse or taking control of or manipulative types of things like that, it always involves girls as the main thing, especially with other sexual abuse like rape and stuff. It's always a girl, so you never see stuff about being boys, like it being a boy. So I wanted to challenge gender norms by doing that, and I wanted to just show it can happen to everyone and not just girls, because it's mostly girls that are shown in media that have the bad things happen to them. And I also wanted to spread awareness on how this happens more often than this has happened to me when I was younger, and I just wanted to spread awareness to it because not a lot of people know that things like this can happen. You could trust somebody online, but they could not be who they really are. You could have somebody that you're really close to, and they could say they're 13 or 14, but in reality it could be a grown man, and it's just a very dangerous thing. And I wanted to I also made this to showcase the importance of internet safety. It's important to know who you're talking to, because then you could get into a situation that you can't get out of. My product engages with audience, and it engages with my audience in the way that I want my audience to be able to really understand what's going on. The reason I had this, which I'll show in a second, is just Michael and Lauren talking. I just want to show how innocent everything could be, and then you just won't realize that it could lead to something terrible. You could be you could be a teenager talking with one of your friends, and you could be having a good conversation, and then you could just be preyed on by them. I wanted to show how easy it is to fall into something like this, and I want the audience to be able to understand and see how easy it is that this could just happen. And the way I would want this to be distributed is, first, I think I would want it to be sourced locally, so it could be told spread around by word of mouth, or I could take it to the movie festivals and have it there, or I would go through smaller companies, how there's smaller companies like A24, and they did Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I think I'd want it to be small at first, because I feel if it got too popular, then people just wouldn't understand it. And I wanted a smaller crowd first, so they could be my test, my control basically, and just see their reactions to it, because then that'll give me the confidence I would want or need to be okay, I'd want this to go to the bigger screens. And I want to catch the audience's attention by how easy it is. Getting into these kinds of situations is so easy. It's as easy as just counting 1, 2, 3, because you could just be making friends online, and then boom, you're suddenly in a trap and you can't get out of it. So yeah. My production skills improved a lot throughout making this project. like during the beginning of the year, I didn't know how to like properly add sounds and stuff to like my films, or like even just doing like simple cuts and stuff. But now, after like going through this entire process of just trying to like figure out what I want to do for my final film, and like storyboarding, and just like planning everything out, as well as just like finding where I want to do it, and like actually getting to the editing part, like I feel like I definitely improved a bunch upon that. And especially, like, I can tell if I look at like one of my old films and look back now, like it's definitely way better. And I'll give like an example, like of like an editing part of my film I like, and it's just like I think I definitely improved so much. Like, I'll put like a before and after, but like especially with my sound and stuff, because I knew in the beginning of the year I would struggle a lot with trying to pick sounds I liked, or even transitions. And just going through this entire process and communicating with my friends and stuff, and trying to find out which works best, it's just like it made everything easier for me. And like going on CapCut now and like editing something is just like as easy as like making eggs or something. Like it's just so like easy to me now, and it's kind of crazy about like on how you're able to understand something after like only using it a few times, because we only filmed a few times, and just doing this entire like project made me understand CapCut way better than I did in the beginning of the year. I integrated technologies, or specifically CapCut. I integrated CapCut into my project by it was just my main editing program the entire time. And like as I said before in the previous one, it was just the one I've used since the beginning of the year, so I already knew how to use it, and it was already like easily accessible for me to use. Like if you just go onto CapCut, which I'm recording this on currently, it just shows you everything you can do, and it gives you even like a little tutorial. I'd say it's even easier to use than like Adobe like Premiere, or like Adobe Photoshop. But it was just way easier for me to use, and I think like it definitely helped, because I was more comfortable using CapCut than me trying to use like Adobe for the first time for this project. And I think it allowed me to do this to the best of my ability. But yeah, so that's the end of my creative critical reflection. I'd say I learned a lot this year, especially while doing my project. I think that's when I learned the most, because we had to put in so much time and research for it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bye!